Here's how this works. I'll be rating the 3 core elements: gameplay, story, and graphics, then giving a final rating for the game at the end. Let's start with gameplay. Now, the sword you start with in this game, it's really damn good, honestly. There's a lot of basic combos you can do with it, and then you can get upgrades for it to make the combos even longer. There's even a skill that lets you follow up the attacks, or you can just do standard stuff. For example, if you do the combo where you launch enemies up in the air and you go with them, you can follow that up, or just hit the special attack button again and then go down with them. There's a lot of options when it comes to just the normal combos. Most of the skills on the sword were pretty good as well. I'd say my favorite skill on the sword is the Divine Eagle Dance. It does insane damage and clears out everything around you. It's fantastic. And the SP skill for it is pretty good as well. With the other weapons, the SP skill is slow, but the SP skill on the sword, it just comes out instantly, and it can hit enemies in the air. I'd say the con for the skill is it launches you backward, even though it helps, but then you gotta run up to the enemy. And if it didn't launch you backwards, you wouldn't have to run up. You could just attack them over and over and over again until they die. The sword had the most combos out of all the weapons in the game. I'm sure of it, so it definitely gets top 5 for that. The next weapon is the spear. I didn't use it that much because I was mainly using the gauntlets, but we'll get to that soon. But I'd say my favorite skill on the spear is definitely Rising Dragon Vortex. You can do a lot with that skill. You can hit the enemies on the ground and then launch them up into the air with Dragon Vortex, and then do another heavy attack to go down with them. It's fantastic. And the spear is pretty damn good for AoE as well. And it has a whole special attack combo, which the sword does not, which is pretty neat. But since I didn't use it that much, I'll have to give the spear top 6. Now the gauntlets, on the other hand, honestly, I don't even know where to start. It can do so much, except have the aerial combos. Unfortunately, the gauntlets, it doesn't have any combos in the air. The best you can do is slap the enemy while they're in the air with you, and then do a slam attack, and that's it. The sword is really the only weapon with combos in the air, except, you know, the spear, of course. The tiger stance is fantastic for clearing out groups of enemies. It has 2 good moves for that, where you just thrust at the air and that'll hit everything near you. And then it has another attack where it sends out compressed air, which hits everything in front of you, but it goes a little farther than the punches. And then dragon stance, I guess it's okay. I didn't really use it that much. There wasn't anything special about it. It was basically the tiger stance, but worse. I didn't use it that much. The main stance I use the most is the serpent stance, simply because it has a move that can draw enemies near you, which is fantastic, by the way, for comboing and hitting more people. And it also has a skill that launches enemies in the air with you as well, so you can launch them in the air and then just start comboing off like crazy, which is great, by the way. In the phoenix stance, I also use that a lot as well. I mainly used it for the passive on the gauntlets, and the passive is on the gauntlets where if you use a skill in the stance, it'll increase the attack speed of your next stance skill, which is just fantastic. So I'd enter a phoenix stance, create a shockwave, and then swap to another stance to use the skill slightly faster. Now you can use the skills without that passive, but it makes it really difficult to combo officers since they recover so fast. I tried, but it just really doesn't work. Oh, and the passive doesn't go away until you use it, which is great. So yeah, I'd say the best stances for the gauntlets is the serpent stance and the phoenix stance for sure. And my favorite skill on the gauntlets is 100% Wrath of Earth. There's another skill, I forget the name of it, but it's a skill that Hong Guy can use. He has this skill where he can grab an enemy and slam them into the ground, and that skill is unbelievably strong. It might be the strongest skill in the game, simply because it can grab enemies, and when you grab an enemy, there's nothing they can do about it, right? Obviously, because it's a grab, but also you can just grab them in the middle of their attack and there's nothing they can do about it. I'm pretty sure enemies aren't immune to grabs, so you can just grab them whenever, which makes it unbelievably strong. It also does a crap ton of damage and has a huge AoE to it as well, so it's just the perfect skill, really. But I couldn't get that skill, so I can't really call it my favorite. And on top of that, Wrath of Earth and that grapple skill are basically the same. With the Wrath of Earth, you punch the ground, make a big AoE, and it launches enemies up in the air, and it does a lot of damage, so it's pretty much the same thing. So I'm gonna have to give the gauntlets top 4. Really solid throughout the whole game. Now the next weapon is the wheels. Honestly, I don't have much to say about this weapon because I didn't like it that much, and since I didn't like it that much, I didn't use it that much. With the wheels, there's no aerial combo, but you can throw the wheels, and just as soon as the wheels come back to you, you can do a special attack to enhance it. And that's how it is for all of the special attacks for the wheels. They can all be enhanced so long as you time it just right, which is really good. It does a lot of damage. The wheels also have a great AoE as well. Honestly, the wheels might have the best AoE in the game, but AoE is kind of pointless in this game since you'll only ever struggle with officers. In Louis Boo, that's about it. And AoE doesn't do much against the officers. And on top of that, it does take the wheels a long long time to come back. So if you stagger an officer or just wait for them to get exhausted and try and throw the wheels, wait for them to come back and do a special attack, it'll take too long. They'll just recover fast enough most of the time. And if you don't want to throw the wheels, you can just keep attacking with it. You'll automatically throw them in the combo, but that's like 6 or 5 plus hits, I forget, which will obviously take too long. The officers will recover, unfortunately. Yeah, I'd say if there was a skill that makes the wheels come back faster, it would be perfect. But unfortunately, I'll have to give the wheels 9th. And the Badao, the giant sword, it doesn't have combos in the air either, but you can hold the special attack button to charge up the attacks. They have stages to it, right? So for stage 1 and stage 2 is the max. But once you reach stage 2, there's multiple attacks to it. If you hold it and then dodge, you'll do an attack. If you block and then hold, it'll do an attack. Basically, for every special attack, there's a different charge for it. So you can hold block and then hold special attack up to stage 2, and then you'll do a different special attack, right? Or if you just hold special attack up to stage 2, you'll do something different. Or while you're walking, it'll do something different. Or if you dodge as well, it'll do something different. Nothing happens in the air though. I already tried. It's just a simple slam attack in the air. Now I'd say the only con with the Badao is that it takes such a long time to reach stage 2, and you don't really want to use Badao just for stage 1. It doesn't do enough damage, doesn't cover enough of the area. It's pretty much, stage 1 is pretty much useless. So stage 2 is where it's at. But there is a passive skill that you can get that reduces the charge time for it, which is just perfect. Now I'd say my favorite skill on the Badao is Sea of Flames. The SP on that is so broken. Like actually, I don't even know why I thought it was a good idea to put this in the game, truly. The initial hit does a lot of damage, and then on top of that, it sets the ground on fire. So if the enemy stays inside the fire, they'll just keep losing health and also get staggered as well. It's ridiculous. And when you're in Muso, you can just keep spamming that over and over and over again and just cheese the enemies. It's ridiculous. So I'd give the Badao a top 7. Now the Twin Pikes, the unique thing about them is that you can just keep spamming Y for a whole special attack combo. Kind of like with the spear, where you can just spam Y and do a whole combo. But with the Twin Pikes, they take it to another level. If you keep pressing the special attack button, the combo will go on until you stop pressing it. Then if you hit the special attack button at the right time, you can unleash an enhanced attack. You can only do the enhanced attack when you're done doing the continuous special attack combo string. So you have to stop hitting the special attack button and wait for the final hit to come out, because the final hit will come out automatically no matter what. And then your character will glow, and then you hit it again at the right time and you'll unleash a strong attack. Does really good damage. There's also a special attack combo as well. If you dodge, then press the special attack button and keep pressing it, you'll do different attacks. Same with blocking. If you hold block and keep pressing the special attack button, and you'll do a different combo as well. And if you do a normal attack, then hit the special attack button, you'll do a different combo as well. And of course, all these special attack combos for the weapon, they all have a enhanced attack that you can do at the end if you time the input right. Yeah, basically this weapon is just all about special attacks. That's pretty much what you want to aim for with the Twin Pikes, but it's kind of hard to do that against officers since they don't care when you're hitting them until they're staggered, and it would just take too long to try and get to that final blow. They would just hit you before you could even get to it. So the Twin Pikes get top 8. Now the Lance is actually busted. You see, with the Lance, if you hold the special attack button, you can just tank all the damage that comes your way, and once you take enough damage, you'll let off a special attack, which is actually ridiculous. It pretty much makes you invincible. And I did try it on the hardest difficulty as well, and it's unbelievably strong there, because you take a lot of damage on Ultimate Warrior, right? But with the Lance, you basically take 2 damage at best. It's insane. And on top of that, you heal from the attacks as well, which is ridiculous. Like, I don't know why they turned the Lance into such a monstrous weapon, but hey, I'm all for it. Now, it doesn't have a lot of options in the air, just like the other weapons, except the sword, but it doesn't really matter because you can just tank all the damage. And my favorite skill on the Lance is Crushing Earth Gambit. With this skill, you can launch rocks up in the air that'll hit you, which you would think is bad, right? But no, you can just hold the special attack button and take the damage from that to launch another special attack for free. It's ridiculous. And the only time you can get staggered while you're enduring attacks is when the enemies do a special attack. Other than that, you can just tank everything in the game. So I'd give the Lance top 3. Now with the Crescent Blade, it has a lot of combos on the ground that you can pretty much do infinitely For example, you can just keep pressing the special attack and it'll just keep going on forever and ever. It'll only stop if you get hit out of it or if you just don't want to press it anymore. And when you keep doing that, it'll build up 2 stages, stage 1 and stage 2. And what these stages will do will increase the range and strength of your next charged attack or skill as well. It can also make your skills better as well if it's in the description. Some skills don't profit off of it. Some skills consume it and some just don't. And it's just a free damage increase. And that's pretty much how I use it. I would just use Azure Dragon Bellow over and over and over again at stage 2 with this weapon for a free damage increase. I won't use any other skills that consume it because then I'll just have to get back to stage 2 when I want to use Azure Dragon, right? But my favorite skill for this weapon is definitely Great Mountain Throw. It's kind of like Hong Gai's skill. What you can do is you can grab somebody and then palm their chest, and that'll do insane damage. It'll also drop them straight to the ground as well, which means you can get a couple free hits in. It'll also hit everything behind them as well. Unfortunately, it does cost a lot of bravery. I got the mastery for it to reduce the amount of bravery, but it's still an insane amount. So yeah, the Crescent Blade will get top 2. And the last weapon, the Halberd, whew, brother, that weapon is crazy. Oh my god, I don't even know where to begin. I didn't have the halberd for that long since you get it at the end of the game, but holy moly, it's crazy. So basically what the halberd can do is it's kind of like the sword, where if you do 3 attacks and then do a special attack, something will come out. But if you do like 4 or 5 normal attacks and then a special attack, something will come out. That's what the halberd basically does. But all of the attacks are red, and I don't know what that means. I think it's just a special effect. I don't think it does anything. I think it's just there to make the weapon look cool, but it can do a whole bunch. When you dodge, you'll jump into the air and then launch out. You'll basically turn yourself into a missile. Or if you dodge and hold the special attack button, you'll do something else, which is fantastic, which gives this weapon a lot of variety. So if you're just standing still and just pressing the special attack, you'll do a whole special attack combo. Or if you want, you can just stand still and hold the special attack button, which will do something else. And my favorite skill is the Hellraiser for now. I'm not able to get any of the other skills because I didn't rank up the weapon that high. The Muso for this weapon is insane. You can enter this state. I think it's called War God mode or something like that. But basically you can enter this state where you can't take any damage and you can just keep spamming all of your skills for free. And you can also launch a special Muso attack at the end. That goes for all of the weapons, but for this weapon, it's completely different. You have this slow walk and oh my god, it's the best thing ever. You walk slowly, right? But when you attack, you can charge at an enemy. So the slow walk is pretty much there for aura. And of course, every time your foot hits the ground, it launches off a shockwave. It's actually insane. And the Muso for it, the Muso ultimate attack is 1000% the best. It's just perfect. So yeah, I'll give the halberd top 1. Now let's move on to the gems. Honestly, at first I thought the gems were terrible. Like for example, the Oblivion gem, all it does is expand your attack range. And at first I thought that was terrible, but no, it's actually fantastic. Because you see, the best way to get bravery in this game is to hit as many enemies as possible. And with more attack range, you can hit more enemies at once, which means more bravery. And that's also how you build up your Muso gauge. So it's actually the best gem in the game. Now there's other gems like the Vortex gem that boosts damage to enemies launched into the air, but since I mainly use weapons that don't combo in the air, the Vortex gem is pretty much useless. If I was maining the sword, I'd 100% use the Vortex gem. It's pretty much made for it. The Scorch gem is pretty good as well. When you parry an attack, it'll boost damage dealt, but I'm not that good at parrying, so I didn't really use that. If I was better, I think I would have used that over the Oblivion gem. And the next gem is the Wellspring gem, and what this gem does is it restores your health for every 100 enemies defeated. This gem is insane early on. Even though the Oblivion gem is better, I definitely recommend using the Wellspring gem for a little bit until the other gems get higher levels. Now the last gem is the Ascendant gem that I know of, and what that does, it'll automatically block an attack from an enemy officer. Now I didn't use it at all, so I have no idea how good that is. I don't know if you'll take a little bit of damage through the block or if it's an automatic parry. I don't know. But yeah, I'd say all the gems are solid, especially the Oblivion gem. And the accessories were pretty good as well. There's a lot of good ones, but I mainly use Drum of Zealous Advance, and what that does is it'll boost your attack by 4% 4% for each allied base you have. So you can cap an enemy base, turn that into an allied base, and get a free damage boost, which is insane. And most of the time, you'll start with at least 2 allied bases, so that's a free 8% damage increase. And then you can cap another base, and that'll be over 10. And some of these fights have a ton of bases, so you could at least get up to a 20% damage increase, which is ridiculous. And the other accessory that I used is the ceremonial blade, which boosts your attack by 15% when you defeat 1,000 or more enemies. That gem is ridiculous. There's other gems that just flat out give you a attack increase, but the ceremonial blade gives you a much higher attack strength increase. The highest one that I have that's just a flat increase with no conditions to me is just 10%. So of course I had to use that. Oh, and taking out 1,000 enemies is really easy in this game. Now, I never played a game like this before. When I first saw like at least 1,000 enemies running at me, I thought I was absolutely cooked, but no. This is not how that game works. So Dynasty Warrior Origins is the first time I've ever played a game like this, and man, it was fantastic. But let's move on to the horses real quick. Now, you can unlock more horses on the harder difficulties, and I think if you choose different people to side with, like for example Cao and Sun Ce, you might be able to get different horses going those route, but I only went with Liu Bei. I didn't choose any of the other ones after beating the game. But the main horse I used is Birch. And the reason I used Birch out of the other horses that I had available to me is because I just like birch, the type of wood, right? I just like the type of wood. That's really the only reason I chose birch over mahogany. And the other horses, they don't have that many endurances, and I'm pretty sure there's no way to get like 4 or 5 endurance on the walnut. I'm pretty sure that's the cap. So you really have no choice but to upgrade to a different horse. And what the endurances do is it's a burst of speed. So when you're riding around on your horse, once you get enough endurance, you can hit RB or R1, whatever controller you're using, and get a burst of speed. It doesn't recharge when you're using it, so unfortunately it's not constantly. And you can hit a button as well to make it charge a little bit faster. Now the portable items, they were all good. I only use the portable items that restore health like meat buns, and the one that restores your health, bravery, and Muso, the max, and another one that restores health to you and nearby allies. Those are the only health portable items I use. The other portable items that I use is Arbor Green and Crimson Crest, and what those do is Arbor Green increases your proficiency gain by 200 until you defeat 100 enemies, and proficiency is how you rank up weapons. So if you need 100 proficiency, you can pretty much pop Arbor Green to get it real quick and then rank up your favorite weapon type or whatever weapon you're leveling up. And Crimson Crest gives you 20 skill points, which is fantastic. At first I thought it wasn't that good, but it starts adding up when you start spamming them every mission. I was able to get a lot of skills because of that. Dodging is pretty good as well. You can dodge on the ground. You can also dodge in the air if you get the skill for it, because there is a skill that you can get on weapons that enables you to dodge in the air, which is pretty good actually. There'll be a lot of times where you're fighting 2 or more officers, and the moment you start calming an officer in the air, another officer will come in and try and hit you. So having that extra dodge in the air is great. And on top of that, there are perfect dodges as well, and when you perfect dodge, you'll get a bit of bravery back, and there's skills for that as well. When you perfect dodge, you can get a damage increase. I think it's 30%, I forget, but yeah, that makes dodging really good. But would I put it over parrying? Honestly, it's a bit difficult because parrying is pretty good as well for a lot of reasons. When you parry an attack, it'll stagger the enemy, which will leave them open for attack, which dodging does not do. It'll also give you bravery back as well. It'll also lower their meter as well, so you can launch a special attack on them. But the thing is, the damage increase that you get is pretty high, and blocking doesn't have that damage increase. There's no when you perfect parry you get X amount of damage, unlike with dodging, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's hard to choose. Honestly, it really doesn't matter what you go with, both are really good, so just choose whatever you're comfortable with. Now the enemy variety is really good. There's so many, I don't think I can name them all. I think I forgot some of them. There's enemies with shields, and then there's enemies with tall shields, right? So the enemies with shields, you can just kill them normally, but if there's an officer nearby, they can command those enemies with the small shields to charge at you slowly, and if you get near them, they'll just push you back. And the enemies with the tall shields, they'll have spears, and then they'll block off your route or just try and stop your movement as much as possible. If you try and charge at them and can jump over them, they'll just poke you out of the sky. That's why they have spears. I tried jumping over them, it never works. They're on it 24/7. So the way to deal with them is that you either attack their shields from behind, which is kind of hard. There's not many situations where you can find a way behind them, or just hit them from the front and then hit them with a special attack. Because the thing is, once you break their shield, it'll leave them open for a special attack, which will clear out the rest of the enemies near you most of the time. So yeah, you can just do that instead. There's also enemies on chariots as well. I would recommend dealing with them as soon as they pop up, because the thing is, I don't really deal with them until the enemies do a special attack. I forget what it's called, but officers can rally an entire battalion of enemies to launch a crazy special attack. And to stop this insane special attack, you have to defeat 1,000 enemies, lower the officer's HP, stop their attack by breaking their stagger meter, I forget what it's called, or just killing the officer, or taking out the chariots. And that's one of the reasons you want to take out the chariots, so it doesn't land on that one, because the chariots are kind of hard to hit and they will kill your army really fast, since all they do is just run around and keep hitting them, and that's a lot of disruptions. There's also trebuchets as well. Every mission doesn't have them, but the ones where you need to defend a castle or attack a castle will have them. And these trebuchets, they will attack enemies on the ground if you're the one attacking the castle, or if you're the one defending the castle, they'll just launch the gate over and over and over again, and sometimes hit the enemies on the ground, and that can do a lot of damage to you and the gates as well. So yeah, as soon as those pop up, you got to deal with them immediately. There's also ballistas as well. They don't do that much, but you definitely should still deal with them, because if they hit you, it'll stun you for a little bit, which means that'll stop your comboing, which is not good. But yeah, you want to deal with those as fast as possible. There's also normal officers as well, and then strategist officers. And the difference between normal officers and strategist officers is that the strategist officers, they're more likely to command enemies around them. I'm pretty sure every officer can do it, but I've only mostly seen the strategist ones do it. And the strategist officers are the ones with these wind fans. I'm pretty sure it's not a weapon type you can use, but it's like these wind fans that they'll have on them. So yeah, it's pretty much as soon as the strategists pop up, you almost want to deal with them first. The only time you don't want to deal with them first is with an enemy with a huge metal ball and a stick at the end of it pops up. It also does a lot of damage to you as well. So yeah, you want to deal with them first and then deal with the strategist if you can. If you cannot, then basically just leave them alone until you can, because trying to attack two officers at the same time is really not a good idea. It's best to just focus on one at a time, preferably if you can help it. There's also archer towers as well, and what these archer towers will do, they'll launch fire arrows at you, which will stun you as well. And sometimes they don't launch fire arrows, but you can still get stunned by them. So yeah, best to deal with them as fast as possible if you can. Sometimes it's really hard to deal with the archer tower, since they'll be deep in enemy lines and there'll be so enemies around them, you can't destroy them, but you can dodge the arrows. So I would just recommend doing that. I tried getting rid of the archer towers first, it just didn't work. Most of the times it ended in a mission fail because I was focusing on them too much. It's just best to worry about the officers and deal with them last if the mission doesn't complete once you erase all the enemy officers. There's also battle rams as well for the allied and in the enemy side, but there's not much to talk about there since they're pretty much useless. Even if you defend them, they won't even go that far. Most of the time they'll just stop moving even when there's no enemies around, or they'll just die insanely fast because enemies will just show up and just throw a bunch of torches at them. There's also ladder enemy types as well, and what these ladder enemies will do is obviously they'll just come up to a wall and place a ladder. That's really it. They don't really do anything else but that. You can kill them, of course. It's best to kill them before they get to the wall. And the reason I say this, even though it's obvious, is because the moment they get to the wall, you can't destroy the ladder once it's deployed. So you really need to deal with them before they even get close to the wall, because once they start that animation, it's too late. Doesn't matter what you do, already tried. It's already too late. So yeah, they're a top priority. There's also archers, of course. Groups of archers just chilling on the ground shooting at you. They're really annoying, since they'll stop your combos 99% of the time. I'd say deal with those groups of enemies first and then deal with whatever else is closest to you. Now let's talk about the AI of the enemies. Honestly, they're pretty smart, and that's definitely apparent with what I said earlier. When you try and combo, they'll try and stop you all the time. It's actually crazy. Even in a big battle where you have multiple allied officers near you, like let's say you have 10 officers near you and the enemy also has 10 officers, right? The NPCs will mostly focus on you no matter what, especially when you start to combo one of the officers a little too much. They'll hit you with something that'll just stop your combos out of nowhere. That goes for the trebuchets and the ballistas as well. And the allies are pretty smart as well. I'd say they're even with the enemies most of the time. Sometimes they're better. Your companion will follow you around, but sometimes they'll just stop somewhere. It's odd. It's like if there's 2 enemy officers on you, right? And there's 2 other enemy officers down the field, and you head to those 2 enemy officers down the field. Sometimes your ally will stay at the 2 enemy officers that you first started at. And sometimes they're really slow, but they do come in a pinch, since you can do special team attacks with your allies as well. And when that's available, they'll try their best to stick close to you as much as possible. So for example, if you see this blue line on you, that basically means you can do a special attack with your ally. And it's not just companions too. It can be any allied officer near you, pretty much. And what that'll do is you'll do your normal battle art, right? And then they'll jump in at the end and then do their own battle arts. So it's 2 battle arts for the cost of 3 bravery, or however much bravery your skill costs. But the Muso attacks, if your ally is ready to do that and you do your Muso attack, it won't cost Muso gauge at all. So it's just a free, strong, big AoE attack, which is fantastic. And the line for that as well is yellow, so you can tell what your ally is trying to do since the colors are different. Now the movement, I almost want to say it's bad, but it's kind of not. And I say kind of because on the ground it's pretty good, but when you're on horseback, it's kind of terrible. There were times where I was trying to hit a turn and the horse wasn't turning sharp enough. It was extremely wide, or I'd just get stuck on a wall because of that. Yeah, the movement is good, just not on the horse. Now the only 2 difficulties I played on were Hero and Ultimate Warrior, and the reason I picked Hero is because when you play on a higher difficulty, you just get more skill points and better gear. So basically you just get more everything. But of course the parry window lowers, enemies get stronger and more aggressive, and it was pretty difficult. There were a lot of times where my allies died and I had to restart the mission, because the thing is, this game isn't so simple like the other ones. When you die in this game, of course there's a mission fail, but you can still fail a mission if your leader dies, or if like certain targets die, or if the enemies breach this castle or get beyond this certain point, you pretty much fail. Yeah, it's not just as simple as that, just keep your own self alive, because that would just be too easy. And the other difficulty is Ultimate Warrior. I don't know if there's another secret difficulty above that, and the reason I say secret is because Ultimate Warrior, it isn't there until you beat the game. And honestly, it makes sense. If you could start a first playthrough right on Ultimate Warrior, beating the game would just be impossible. You would not be able to get strong enough, since when you're on Ultimate Warrior, the mission levels are so high, you just wouldn't be able to kill anybody. It would be like fighting 100 Louis Boos. You just can't beat that, right? But you do get really good gear. You get, if I remember correctly, I think it's grade 7 gear, which is really good. Does a lot of damage, looks cool as well, and I think it comes with some unique perks as well. There's also other stuff you get on Ultimate Warrior. It's not just gear. You can also get soldiers as well, which is great. And what soldiers do is they follow you around, right? But it's your own squad, and there's also tactics you can launch with that. The tactics I mainly use is mounted charge, because there's a dramatic success with it. And a dramatic success with a tactic, it'll lower the courage of the enemies if you achieve a dramatic success. And when their courage is lowered, it reduces their health and it reduces their stagger meter, so it just makes them a lot easier to kill. And to achieve the dramatic success on mounted charge, you just need to launch the mounted charge at the correct distance. It's super duper easy, unlike the other tactics. For example, with the flaming volley or with the normal volley, you need to be higher than your enemy. Basically what I mean by that is you need to be on a mountain while they're still on the ground to achieve the dramatic success. And not many battlefields have that, but I still run it because it does a lot of damage and it has huge AoE. The flaming volley, at least. The normal volley is terrible. Don't use it. And the other tactic I use is battle roar. And what that is, it's just a free dramatic success. That's really it. It'll hit everything around you, and of course if an officer gets hit, it'll lower their courage. So yeah, that's why I run it. It's just free. There's no reason not to run it. And the dramatic successes from the tactics, they do stack as well. I have hit an enemy with a flaming volley, mounted charge, and battle roar, all 3 dramatic successes, and I ended up one-shotting them because it was just too much. The morale was at an all-time low. It was fantastic. And the more soldiers you get, it'll increase their attack and defense, and every time you get a soldier, it'll also give you a new tactic, which is great, by the way. There's so many in this game, it's insane. Honestly, it is a shame that you can only run 3. If you could just run 4 or 5, it'd be better, because there's just so many. Other than soldiers, you can also get horses, and battle arts as well. I'm assuming you can get gems from there as well, although I haven't seen it. I think I've seen accessories pop up, I don't know, but I'm gonna just assume you can get those two from there as well because it just makes sense. Yeah, I definitely recommend replaying the game on Ultimate Warrior for all the good gear. Oh yeah, to get all the new loot as well, you have to do these challenges. It's just not complete a mission on Ultimate Warrior difficulty. No, you have to do certain things. Like for example, you have to take out this officer in like 5 or 10 minutes, which is honestly kind of hard to do because the scaling for Ultimate Warrior is a bit broken. For example, I beat the game at, I want to say level 52, I forget. It was something around there. But once you start playing on Ultimate Warrior, 2 missions later, the scaling will just go up and now you're doing missions that are at level 75, which is actually ridiculous. It's still completable for sure, absolutely. This scaling, it's honestly insane. It makes completing the challenges almost impossible because of that, since killing an enemy within 10 minutes when you're at level 55 is basically impossible. Because with the combat in this game, if you just progress the flow of combat, like do what your allies want to do, and that would be the way to do it, right? But with only 10 minutes, there's not enough time for that because all the other officers will have a lot of health as well, not just your target. So you need to rush in by yourself or with a companion, because some missions will allow you to have a companion, right? But if you rush in with yourself, it'll either be the officer there alone or they'll have friends. So you'll have to fight off another pair of officers most of the time and kill the officer in 10 minutes. Now, depending on the weapon, it kind of is possible, and your companion as well. Oh, and depending on your consumables as well, there is a consumable that instantly fills up your Muso gauge. So if you have a really good battle art to spam, you could just kill your target right away. But getting that consumable is, honestly, I don't even know how to get it. I only had one of them and I don't know how to get it. I didn't see it in a shop either. I don't even know. So with all that said, I'll give gameplay a 10 out of 10. Honestly, it was perfect. Now let's talk about story. One of the first main characters you'll run into is Zhang Zhao, and he's the leader of the Yellow Turbans. And my favorite character from that group is who I said earlier, Zhang Zhao. He was just a great dude all in all. He did his best to protect the realm. He also tried his best to keep the Yellow Turbans under control, but that just didn't work. Unfortunately, the Yellow Turbans did get corrupted since he just wasn't able to keep them under a tight leash. And what they did is once they got corrupted, they started just raiding innocent people and killing innocent people, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's really unfortunate that had to happen. But unfortunately, he did die. The Yellow Turbans were out of control, and if you let him go, they would have stayed that way. You had to kill him. And it was one of the coolest boss fights in the game as well, right behind Louis Boo. So he gets #1 in my book, without a doubt. The second character you'll run into is Guan Yu, and he's a pretty good guy, just like Zhang Zhao. He serves Louis Boo and has his back at all times, including his family, no matter what. If Louis Boo wants somebody dead, Guan Yu just says where they at. Matter of fact, I don't even need to know where they at. I'll find them myself. It's actually crazy. He's a genuine ride or die. Guan Yu even protected Louis Boo's home and family from Cao Cao forces by himself, which was insane. That last stand was ridiculous. And then on top of that, he is super duper drippy. Like, bro, just look at him. And he's just so perfect too. Just look at his beard, brother. Just yeah, he gets top 2 on my list. Now the third character you run into, I'm pretty sure it's Louis Bei. Now he is a pretty good guy. He's even better than Zhang Zhao because he didn't let his force get out of control, and he's just a really genuine good dude. He was super duper humble from start to finish. Nothing ever got to him except his own doubts, since he was questioning his own abilities. But then I talked to him real quick and we sorted that out. So you know, he's on a good track now, and he's also the one I chose to serve as well. He even let other people from other factions join him, and he even helped out his enemies as well when he really shouldn't have. For example, he helped out Louis Boo, which he shouldn't have. He should have just let him die. But when somebody asks him for help, he'll help them out no matter what. Even when his soldiers were exhausted, he still helped out one of the leaders. I think it's Gong Sun San. I think that's the person he helped out. I forget. But yeah, just a really good dude. His force was made to just help people in need. It was called the Voluntary Force. He gets top 3 for sure. Now Zhang Fei is the next character you meet, and at first I thought he was an asshole because that's what it kind of felt like at first with the dialogue and everything, but afterwards I got to know him more, and he's really not a bad guy. He does has his flaws. For example, he is addicted to alcohol. He really can't go 1 second without it, and that did cause us to lose our own home base of operations. He was tasked with watching over Louis Boo. Then as soon as we left from Xiao Pei, he got drunk, and then Louis Boo just took over as soon as he got drunk. That was his first slip up too. it. It's not like he got drunk multiple times. No. First time he did it was when they striked. But even though he's an alcoholic, he is still a pretty good dude. He cares about Liu Bei just as much as Guan Yu. And he held off Cao Cao forces on a bridge alone by himself, which was fantastic to see. So he'll get top 8. Now, Sun Jian, the Tiger of Zhongdong, I think that's the name of the place. Honestly, man, he was such a good guy. He was honestly perfect. There's nothing bad about him. Out of everybody, he was most fit to lead. He had it all. Charisma, strength, intelligence, brutality, power, all of it. He was perfect. He wasn't rude as well. He was too perfect. And since he was too perfect, unfortunately, he did die. Oh. And he's dead. And honestly, I really was super pissed when he died. The thing is, I would have went with the Sun clan if he didn't die. That solidified my spot to go with Liu Bei, because I just don't trust Sun Ce. And on top of that, the Sun clan, they kind of ended up in a sad spot after Sun Jian died. So, yeah. But Sun Jian gets top 4 on my list. Let's talk about Cao Cao. The only reason I didn't choose him is because he was too heartless. It's good to be heartless as a ruler, but not as much as him. He literally used his father's death as an excuse to attack his enemies, which is just insane to me. He definitely should have still attacked the ones that killed his father, but he was using it in a different way, which didn't feel right to me. Like if Louis Bu's father died, he'd do the same thing, but he'd do it out of vengeance. He wouldn't like spend his death and use it in another way. That's why I went with Liu Bei. Well, that's one of the reasons. Another reason is he really doesn't care about normal people that much. If I remember correctly, when you attack this castle, they burn it down. Well, I think it's Dongzhou that burns down this castle that you're at. And Cao Cao wants to chase Dongzhou instead of save the people that are near the fire. And that just didn't seem right to me. So I was just like, nah, it's not gonna work. Then on top of that, he recruited some of the people from Yuan Shao side, which is actually insane. Yuan Shao, he did so many bad things and he wanted to recruit his henchmen, which is insane. Bring them to the stake real quick. That's what he needed to do instead. Then on top of that, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Cao Cao did torture Hong Gai or had him tortured. At some point, Hong Gai showed up and he was all bruised up. So I don't know if that was the Sun clan trying to make like an elaborate ruse to get Cao Cao to accept Hong Gai, or Hong Gai torture him. I don't know. So yeah, for all that, Cao Cao gets top 7. Now Hong Gai, he's absolutely amazing, I promise you. He got tortured, then joined Cao Cao, then betrayed him. He was a double agent. The whole time he was still working for the Sun clan. He pretty much tricked them, like all of them actually, and then burned down their ships. So I put him top 5 for that. And he's a really good companion since he has that skill where he can just grab people. And you can actually spam that to complete missions so fast. Like for example, if your mission is just to take down Dongzhou, you can just put Hong Gai on your team, swap to him once the Muso gauge is full, and then just spam the grab. And there's nothing he can do about it. And he will die because it does so much damage. Honestly, I wish I went with the Sun clan to get that skill, because I'm pretty sure if I go with the Sun clan, Hong Gai would teach me that. But after you know who died, I just couldn't. Now Louis Bu, he was absolutely amazing. I didn't know Louis Bu was going to be in this game, but I knew he existed from Records of Ragnarok. So when we first ran into him, I was just standing there, just jaw completely dropped, just saying to myself, there's no way. And then we ended up fighting him, and then I was like, there's no way I'm about to fight this man. And then I proceeded to get my ass completely whooped by him first encounter. It was embarrassing. It was so quick. It was damn near instantaneous. I tried a couple times, but he wasn't having any of it. So I was like, okay, we'll meet again. I'll just run away from now. And luckily we did. But man, it was crazy. First, you run from him, then you end up saving him, then he ends up attacking you. I think it only ends that way if you go with Liu Bei. If you go with Cao Cao, it's probably completely different with the Sun clan as well. I don't know, since I didn't go those routes. But yeah, he was actually insane. His moves were really cool as well. And on top of that, his horse looked really nice as well. He was so damn drippy. He was so tall, bro. He was perfect. I swear, everything about him, even the lines he was saying. The strongest warrior under heaven. I swear. That title goes so damn hard. It's really unfortunate that he had to die. It really is. I was hoping we could recruit him, but nope, it just wasn't gonna happen. So yeah, he gets top 6. I really liked everything about him. Even though he was one of the bad guys, he was just so perfect in my eyes. I just couldn't. Now Xiao Yun, he joins Liu Bei after Gong Sun San dies. He just saw that he's such a good person, and that's really one of the reasons I picked him as well, other than than Guan Yu, of course. So yeah, he joins him for that. He also protects his family just like Guan Yu does. He takes his newborn baby and takes it all the way back to him, and then we board the ships and then escape from South forces. So I'm gonna give him top 9 for that. But Peng Tong, he does get top 10 on my list. The reason I put him on instead of all the other characters is because he's just so damn helpful. He helped out in the last battle. I think it's the battle of Shangdong. I think that's what it's called, something like that. Same with Liang, but I like Peng Tong more than Liang because he's just more helpful and I just knew him longer. For example, that resort where you can go through like the bond levels and rewatch the dialogue and everything and the interaction to see who to talk to next, and then the rewards in there as well. I had to give him a spot. He's just too perfect. Like, he had all the good stuff. Yeah, he'll get top 10. Now the world map level and exploration was all perfect. Honestly, I loved it. I loved how it was like top down, like an RPG style type D&D type game, like in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I really liked that, and it wasn't pointless as well. Same with Tiny Tina Wonderlands. There's dice that you can grab in that game, but in this game there's these pyro crystals that you can grab to upgrade the gems that I mentioned earlier. That's how you upgrade them. You need those gems. You can't upgrade them without the pyro. You can also get Moonshade, I think that's what it's called, that enhances the pyro, which basically makes the pyro give more levels to the gems, but it doesn't affect all the gems. It only picks 2, and you can keep using it over and over and over again, the Moonshade. So if you want to upgrade a different gem, you just keep using it until the Moonshade selects that, which is fantastic. There's also other things in the world, like there's these old guys that fish that give you battle arts, and I think I grabbed all of them. I don't know if I missed one. Pretty sure I didn't. There's also the fast travel crystals as well. I think they're called waypoints in the game, but when you raise your reputation in a region, you'll get free rewards, and that can be anything. That's how I got some of my horses as well, so I know for sure you can get horses from that. I'm pretty sure you can get accessories from that. I also got pyro from it one time as well, and I think gold, and that's it. So yeah, the world slash map is beautiful. Even when you're in combat, there's a couple good spots with really good views in the game. It looks so damn good. It's hard to explain honestly because it just looks so good. I can't put it into words. And the level design, well, the design of the battlefields, I should say, were really good. There's a lot that you can do there. Like, the terrain was always so very different. There's like little side battles you can do in the world that's just you spawn in and you have to like kill this one bandit leader, and that's it, which is okay. That's just side stuff. It's not really that important. But for the main battles, there was water, there were spots that you can go up high and go low, there's ladders, bridges, points that you can sabotage the enemies, points that you can get sabotaged yourself as well, points that you can ambush ambushers as well on top of that. And bases were decently spaced out. They didn't feel too close, but they didn't feel too far either, and that's what I loved about the game. Let's say your main force is attacking the enemy's main force, and right now you're on the flank and taking these bases. It's gonna take you a while to get back to your main force, and that's what it felt like. Since you weren't able to get back so fast, it felt real, which was so awesome. You'd come in at the last second and save everyone, which, oh, I did that a couple times and it felt so good. Because the thing is, when you get near your allies, if they're low enough on health, when their health bar is a tint of yellow, you'll just heal them automatically. You can actually upgrade that skill as well. The castles that you can attack were pretty big as well, and there's so much you can do on the battlefield. If you wanted to help out the main force, you could, or you could just go for the main target and just raid the enemy fortress by yourself. And they would say lines to that as well. They'd say you're foolish and this and that, which is pretty hilarious to me. Unfortunately, their dialogue on that does not change. Even when you do get far into the game and get really strong, they don't say anything. They just keep saying the same thing, that you're foolish. Even though you literally beat Louis Boo by yourself, they still say things like that, which is just odd, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. And there is some pretty funny dialogue in the game. When you get to certain points in the story, there'll be this character that's near the towns that you can go into, and they'll say like funny rhymes.
Shall pay is far smaller than the price we shall pay in lost trade if we are defeated.
And it'll always change like the farther you get into the game, which is funny. And the music, ooh man, the music is so good for this game. It's actually kind of crazy how good the music is. Actually, it's kind of crazy how good this game is. I'm gonna be honest. So I'm gonna give the story a 10 out of 10. Let's move on to graphics. Honestly, the graphics at first I thought they were terrible, but then as I started playing the game more and more, it started to grow on me. I was just judging them too harshly too quickly. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with the graphics. Of course, they're not the greatest, but it's not the best either. It's really solid. The character design is pretty great. Everybody looked really good. Like literally everybody, even the villains, even the normal soldiers, everybody looked cool. Like I don't know what it is, but the devs, they did a fantastic job. The animations were pretty good. Like for example, when Guan Yu was fighting Cao Cao's forces, you could clearly tell he was tired. His eyes were bloodshot red and there was sweat all over him, just like with Louis Bu in his final moments. He was clearly exhausted. That was showing a lot. Eyes were red, he was sweating, it was perfect. And now the performance for the game, it didn't stutter at all. I just thought about it, there was no drops or anything, and I was recording and streaming the game at the same time at some points. Well, I streamed the whole game, but I was recording at some points. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give graphics a 10 out of 10. To be honest, I'd say my rating is a bit biased towards this game since this is the first game I've ever played like this. I've never played a game where it's just you versus 10,000 enemies. It just caught me off guard, but in a good way. So yeah, kind of biased a little bit. One of the best third-person games I played for sure. Would I recommend this game to anyone? Yes, absolutely. I am curious what the next Dynasty Warrior Origins game is, because now I'm kind of invested in these kind of games since Origins was so good. Like what's gonna happen after, I wonder. And of course, I'm gonna have to give the entire game 10 out of 10.